Bonaire in the 1850s. The island consisted of 5 large plantations, or monuments. Black Indian and convict slaves were used to work the plantations. Much of our native population are descendants of these people. Yet, after slavery was abolished, these tracts of land were sold off to wealthy landowners, skipping the people that lived and worked on them. As shown here, the 5 monuments are called Slagby, Washington, Columbia, Bolivia, and Klein Bonaire. Since that time, Slagby, Washington, and Klein Bonaire have become protected from development and degradation, preserved for their natural, cultural, and historical value. Plantation Bolivia, 10% of the island, was recently sold away from the people of Bonaire, again to a Dutch developer. The cliffs of Plantation Bolivia. Much of Bolivia, like our national park, is unspoiled. Entering this gate just north of Arawak, we decided to see what the impact was like on the border of Bolivia. This is one of the cliff lots just before the newly purchased area overlooking Bolivia. Looking to the sea, we see an unspoiled Bolivia rich in nature, not unlike Bonaire's National Park. Heading further down the dirt road, we see the first example of what development could be like. An enormous plot bulldozed down with a land house not unlike those of the plantations, with the exception of the mock helipad. This is the road to the northernmost cliff property of the new Bolivia developer. We see early preparation, but no real work has started. The scale of this area is massive, taking over an hour by car to reach the southern end at Lagoen. Going north through the Arawak entrance, we look up at the cliff from the area bordering the sea. The wilderness here is rough, and redeveloping it is sure to produce runoff. Runoff of sediments and contaminants from the Australian coast is one of the biggest causes for the degradation of the Great Barrier Reef. So what are we protecting just over this sea cliff? The top of the wall explodes in color. Vastly different from Bonaire's west coast, this shallow reef is richly adorned with fire coral, sea fans, sponges, and other robust marine life that can withstand rough seas. The angle of the sun illuminates a brilliant display of small fish migrating across the reef. Parrotfish in varying stages of development are everywhere. This reef is healthy. At 75 feet, a cave appears with a partially collapsed ceiling adorned by beautiful sponges. We peek above the collapsed ceiling to reveal ambient light pouring into the cave. Ascending to 60 feet, we see a wide expanse of coral atop a ledge. This sponge is immense. Looking over the ledge, we see another garden of coral. At the base of the wall, this southern ray is camouflaged in sand. A pair of Caribbean lobsters. This field of coral is just stunning. Let's now go to the center of Bolivia, Maymay. This bluestone bike trail leads you to the original slave plantation entrance, Maymay. Today this is wilderness, and it has been open to people of Bonaire for years, and people simply expected it all to stay that way. Given the area's size, you might say this is the soul of Bonaire. It represents our abolishment of slavery and the home of the first inhabitants, the Caquetillo Indians. It is interlocked with virtually all other areas of Bonaire and as such is a corridor for wildlife. No matter how much money or social status you have, the people of Bonaire have been free to go out here and experience the solitude of nature, not unlike national parks. Unlike national parks, there are no fees or locked gates. Since Bolivia has been largely undeveloped for years, there are amazing places that many Bonaireans have never even seen. Our foundation has been going out into Bolivia and logging the locations of significant trees, areas, and historical locations which we will make available on Google Earth for all to see and experience. It is our goal to use this information to protect and preserve these monuments unimpaired for this and future generations. We are also identifying critical actions that need to be taken as part of the conservation efforts. One of the people helping us with our efforts is Bucci Franz. Bucci and his father have been caretakers of Bolivia for well over a century. Bucci is now 90 years old and he moves like someone half his age. Some call him Superman.
Hey, napoling busca na, no? Napoling busca na, babo.
Así cartão?
No, ik wil para ijzer beetje. Ze komen dus hier allemaal.
Wow. Look at the size of that Wayaka tree, my gosh. Look at the base on that. Bucci's daughter, Hermina, poses next to it to show its size. Look at that. Taking of Wayaka trees began in the 1700s. Wow. Their wood is so hard they were stronger than bronze and used for the blocks and tackles used to raise and lower things like shipyard arms. They were also used to build the gears and axles in windmills back in the Netherlands. That's really old. Two of these trees we saw today were so big at the time they could only cut off some branches. Look at that. This is a dam or seasonal watering hole. The soil here is rich from the droppings of goats and donkeys. At the edge of the dam are two large taki trees, so large they broke the rocks around them. Brazil tree, right? This is just one of those beautiful places you can sit in the shade from the sun and enjoy the quiet and sounds of the wilderness. This is so large. This is huge. This Wayaka tree is estimated at over 700 years old. People stare in amazement, having never seen live trees this old. In a recent news article, it was said that the new owner wanted to redevelop the nature. You simply can't put back a 700-year-old tree. It must be protected.
Come look! That's really cool.
Brazil wood.
It's like a little butt.
Okay.
Yeah?
Wow.
And the bark is
We would never have known.
There were many like this that just disappeared. These are the few really strong ones that survived, but there must have been tons of those.
So it's over 700 years old, and they tried to cut off pieces of it in the 18.
Yeah, we might want to.
Around 1700.
Around 1700.
Yeah, before they started taking all the Brazil wood off the island, they already took all the Vayaca.
Yeah. Okay.
And you see where they cut off the big branches.
Yeah.
There was probably a big branch on this side that they took off. You see on where that hole is, you see that there is
Yeah.
cutting marks also on the top.
Oh my.
That's why it's hollow.
Wow.
But he didn't want to die. He survived.
That's
And
impressive.
in another 200 years, all those holes are probably covered with new bark, and then it's good to go for another 500 years.
Wow. That's incredible. Are there many trees like this on the island, or no?
Not anymore.
Not even in the park.
No, this is well, I didn't know this tree. I know one that is bigger, but this is the second one. This is 2 meters and 85 centimeters around,
Yeah.
and the other one is 291. So it's really close. But these are the oldest of the island.
Wow. A recent interview with a new owner, Bonaireans, raises serious questions as to his willingness to preserve the nature that is there. Adding to the concerns is the referral to a deal made between Bonaire's government and the developer without any formal plan being submitted or shown publicly to the people of Bonaire. The plan shown to the people of Bonaire was a conceptual one from the previous owner of Bolivia. It refers to rivers that don't exist, the existence of new cliff housing over which one of the largest protective caves on Bonaire resides. Going forward, we will continue to gather the location of critical plant, historical monuments, species, and ecosystems on land and within the bordering sea. We will be working with SNAPA to form a reef study along the Bolivia coast to assess the marine ecosystem that exists. It is our hope to work with this developer to preserve the heritage and natural sites of Bolivia, retaining the essence of Bonaire while allowing for economic opportunity for the people of this great island community. If you also wish to preserve Plantation Bolivia for now and future generations, join us. Please subscribe to our Facebook page or our YouTube channel. If you want to get involved, feel free to email us. We will be producing follow-up videos on Foundation efforts, information about our heritage and monument sites, and general conservation and preservation issues.